Stacey David didn't disappear because viewers stopped watching. He didn't disappear because he ran out of ideas, lost his passion, or simply faded into history. In fact, many of the people who grew up watching him still consider him one of the greatest automotive television hosts of all time. Yet somewhere along the way, his familiar face slowly vanished from mainstream TV, leaving behind years of unanswered questions. There was no emotional farewell. No headline-making scandal. No public feud that dominated magazines or television interviews. One week he was standing in the garage, teaching millions of viewers how to transform ordinary trucks into extraordinary machines. The next, he was simply gone. For years, fans have wondered what really happened. Was he pushed out? Did the network replace him? Did he grow tired of television? Or was there something happening behind the scenes that viewers were never meant to know? The mystery became even bigger because Stacey himself rarely spoke about it. Unlike many television personalities who leave a successful show only to spend years criticizing former employers or revealing behind-the-scenes drama, Stacey chose silence. That decision only fueled speculation. The less he said, the more people wondered. But the real story isn't built around scandal. It's built around something much rarer in the entertainment industry: principles. Once you understand the road Stacey David chose, you'll realize he may have walked away from fame to protect something that meant even more to him. And that's exactly what makes his story so different from almost every other television personality who has quietly disappeared from the spotlight. Long before cameras followed him around a garage, Stacey David was already living the life viewers would later come to admire. Growing up in Boise, Idaho, he wasn't the kind of kid who simply admired fast cars from a distance. He wanted to understand them. Every engine, every transmission, every strange noise coming from an old vehicle fascinated him. Instead of asking someone else to fix a problem, he wanted to discover the answer himself. That curiosity became almost an obsession. While other teenagers spent weekends finding ways to stay entertained, Stacey spent countless hours working on go-karts, motorcycles, old engines, and anything mechanical that crossed his path. If something was broken, he didn't see junk. He saw an opportunity to learn. Every bolt he removed revealed another lesson. Every mistake made him a better builder. Little by little, he developed the skills that couldn't be learned overnight. He taught himself fabrication, welding, troubleshooting, and creative problem-solving long before anyone ever imagined he'd become a television personality. Those years mattered because they gave him something television could never manufacture: authenticity. He wasn't pretending to be an expert because a producer handed him a script. He had earned every bit of knowledge through years of dirty hands, late nights, failed projects, and hard-earned successes. That authenticity would eventually become the biggest reason viewers trusted him. But what many fans don't realize is that cars weren't Stacey's only passion. Hidden behind the mechanic's gloves was another side of his personality that surprised many people. Instead of immediately pursuing a career in the automotive industry, Stacey also chased music. He moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where he built a career as a professional guitarist. He performed recording sessions and toured with different artists, developing a completely different set of creative skills. At first glance, music and fabrication seem like two completely unrelated worlds. One is built around melodies, while the other revolves around engines and steel. For Stacey, however, they weren't different at all. He viewed every vehicle almost like a song waiting to be composed. Every project had rhythm. Every design had personality. Every modification had purpose. Instead of simply replacing parts, he created something with character. Whether he was building a truck, restoring a classic vehicle, or designing something completely unique, there was always a story hidden beneath the metal. That combination of artist, mechanic, fabricator, and storyteller made him unlike anyone else working in automotive television. Looking back now, it almost seems inevitable that someone would eventually discover him. Television wasn't searching for another actor pretending to know about vehicles. It was searching for someone who actually lived the lifestyle. That opportunity finally arrived in 1999, when Trucks debuted on TNN, later becoming part of Spike TV's growing automotive lineup. The timing couldn't have been better. Automotive television was changing rapidly. Audiences were no longer satisfied watching polished commercials or racing highlights. They wanted something real. They wanted to understand how projects were actually built instead of simply admiring finished vehicles. Stacey David became the perfect answer. From the very first episodes, viewers noticed something different about him. He wasn't loud. He wasn't trying to dominate every conversation or become the center of attention. Instead, he spoke calmly, explained every step carefully, and treated viewers like equals. He understood that people weren't tuning in just to watch beautiful trucks roll across the screen. They wanted to learn. And Stacey loved teaching. Whether he was discussing suspension geometry, engine swaps, fabrication techniques, welding, bodywork, paint preparation, or custom modifications, he never overwhelmed his audience with technical jargon. He broke complicated ideas into simple steps that anyone could understand. That was his secret. Countless viewers finished an episode believing they could finally tackle projects that had intimidated them for years. Stacey didn't make mechanics seem impossible. He made them approachable. That may sound like a small difference, but it completely changed how people experienced automotive television. Instead of sitting back and admiring someone else's skills, viewers found themselves walking into their own garages after the show ended. Some finally changed their own oil. Others attempted their first welding project. Fathers invited their sons into the garage. Teenagers became interested in automotive careers. Hobbyists dusted off half-finished trucks that had been sitting untouched for years. Stacey wasn't just building vehicles. He was creating builders. That influence reached far beyond television ratings. While networks measured success through audience numbers, Stacey measured success differently. Every time someone gained enough confidence to pick up a wrench because of something they learned on trucks, he had accomplished exactly what he wanted. Projects like the legendary 1967 Chevy C10, known as Copperhead, became more than television builds. They became icons within the automotive community. Fans eagerly waited for every new modification, learning alongside Stacey as each stage of the transformation unfolded. Then there was Crazy Horse, the unforgettable 1966 Ford Bronco that inspired countless enthusiasts to dream about building their own custom off-road machines. These weren't just trucks featured for entertainment. They became characters with personalities, histories, and stories that viewers followed week after week. But the vehicles weren't actually the reason people kept coming back. They came back because they trusted the man building them. Unlike many television hosts who seemed interested in showing off how much they knew, Stacey focused on making sure viewers understood every decision he made. If a certain modification was chosen, he explained why. If a mistake happened, he didn't hide it behind clever editing. He used it as another opportunity to teach. That honesty created something extremely rare in television: trust. Viewers believed him because nothing about his personality felt manufactured. Ironically, that same authenticity would eventually create the biggest conflict of his entire career. As trucks became increasingly successful, the world around it began changing. Television executives saw opportunities to make bigger profits. Sponsors wanted more visibility. Networks looked for ways to attract larger audiences. Gradually, automotive television started moving away from education and toward entertainment. Shows became louder. Arguments became storylines. Deadlines became exaggerated. Conflict became more valuable than craftsmanship. While audiences were enjoying the drama, Stacey was watching something else disappear: the educational heart that had made trucks special in the first place. And before long, he would face a decision that would change the course of his career forever. Most people believed the biggest risk would have been leaving one of the most successful automotive shows on television. The truth is, Stacey David believed the bigger risk was staying. And what happened next shocked nearly everyone who had followed his journey.